Welcome to Builder Buzz by Home Nation, where we bring in builders, developers, and everyday investors to talk about one of America's biggest opportunities, affordable housing. We'll talk about real costs, explosive growth, big mistakes, and tough lessons you won't learn anywhere else. Whether you're building homes, buying land, or just building big ideas, this podcast is for you.
Hello everybody, today my guest is James Casper with Baya Build. This is going to be a fantastic interview. For a long time, the construction industry has needed to be disrupted. You could say that we've been building stick frame construction, which is basically wood, hammer, nails. We've been doing that for hundreds, maybe even thousands of years. Things have been pretty simple. They haven't developed very much. There are some innovations in the industry, but as a whole, we've kind of built the same way. What Baya Build has been working on for the past nearly 8 years is a different way to build for affordable housing, attainable housing on a mass scale. Every now and then you might get something affordable on a small scale, but to do that on a mass scale, and we're talking like hundreds of homes, thousands of homes, that can be difficult. So I don't want to spoil it for you, but it has to do with concrete and going through 4 different generations of trying to figure out which way is the best way to build affordable housing on a large scale. So tune in, let's hear what James has to say. He just might have the ticket for solving the affordable housing crisis in the United States.
I'm a technology geek, so I love technology and I love using technology to betterment the world, environment, myself. And so I've been in technology for nearly 30 years. I started in financial technology and I ran 5 different fintech companies that were doing trading. So we were trading 1/10,000th of a penny every day in billions of dollars worth of trading, and super precise, beyond precise. We was trading at microseconds, which is near the nanosecond, which is nearly a millionth of a second. And when I came into construction, which has been my love, I grew up in the field. My father was a developer. I was trying to solve a problem, and that was to build communities for the 55 and over using 2 inputs and trying to get 5 outputs. So the 2 inputs were technology and economy of scale. And the 5 outputs were physical, spiritual, and communal. Basically, if you invest in getting those 5, you're able to kind of live a longer, happier, healthier, more productive life. And that was the goal I was trying to achieve. When I uncovered the complexities of construction, I realized it was a very chaotic industry and environment. And it took me 2 years to kind of figure out how to approach it. And so since I was for 20 plus years, I was in the algorithmic trading space where we were doing pattern recognition and mean reversion and stat arb and latency arb and all these quantum physics. I was trying to figure out, is there a method or a bunch of disciplines that I could connect together that I could make construction and buildability more efficient. So that's how Baya Build was born. I didn't come up with it. The head of technology at Goldman Sachs came out with the name Baya Build. And Baya is a self-weaving bird that makes its own nest in a very intricate way. And the male bird builds the nest and the female bird does the quality control. And so that was how this whole thing was created. We are now today on our 4th generation, which is concrete, which is what I was started about. It's our own cementitious product that we've created. It was the last thing I wanted to do. I really did not want to go into the concrete field, but one of our theses is that we have to build to solve affordable housing. So scale is a very sensitive issue for us. So how do you do that when it comes to engineered wood? And it was really kind of impossible. So we tried everything. CLT, we tried SIPs like these, and we did and we loved SIPs, and we loved them all, by the way. We loved the rapid framing system where we were building entire sections that were 40 or 60 foot long. And we were being able to put them together in 2.5 to 3 minutes. And so we were really ahead of it. And then we realized that if we're going to do affordable housing for the masses and try to bring down the pricing, how do we have to control some level of manufacturing. And then we came up with, for many reasons, with our concrete mix. Unlike most concrete doesn't have a good R value, so it has bad insulation in it. Ours is 10 times the R value of conventional concrete. So we get to an R30 in a 6-inch wall panel. Yeah, so that's really high.
That's really good.
Yeah. So we get to R30 in our walls. We get to a PSI of 9,000 to 12,000. So that's 3 to 4 times conventional strength, industrial strength. We bring down the price. We use only green materials. So this is all recycled materials in it, or aggregate. And we're able to build anything from tiny homes to buildings to a lot of townhomes projects that we're doing. We do a lot of things on the islands. But generally speaking, we do larger projects. So I would say really anything right now is 100 units to 1,000 to 3,000 units is kind of what we're dealing with right now.
Really?
And that enables us to bring down the pricing and deliver the material. So this concrete is not only architectural, it's structural, and it's insulative as well. So we actually form on the outside the whatever design we want. So it could be lap siding, it could be stucco, it could be wood, it could be anything else that you wanted on the outside. That makes sense?
Wow. You focus on multifamily, is that right?
Yes.
You do single family as well, though.
We do.
So
we'll do 100 units or 200 units of single family as opposed to one. We do infill, and we're doing actually infill in certain cities where the cities have committed to X amount of hundreds of units per year. And then we build a factory on site in the area that services, let's say, a 20 to 40 minute, transportation.
Yeah. Okay.
Radius.
There's a lot to go into there. First, Baya Build, how long has this, when did you start this company?
It started 8 years ago.
Okay. So that's a lot of growth in 8 years.
That's 4 generations of technology. We've been focused mostly on technology, but we've done, yes.
So you find a location, say if you want to do single family, you find a location and you work with the city, and then you build a factory so that you can do those shipments in the 30, 60 minute radius. Is that right?
Correct.
Now that building a factory is no small feat. That's very expensive. How do you do that?
I just finished doing a budget right now for a factory. For a project of ours. So we have a project that we have to pump out 700 units in a year. And guess how much the pop-up factory budget was?
It's got to be a few million. It's
just under
where
$1 million.
it is.
Just under $1 million. $1 million.
Wow.
And that's with machinery that we take to the next project. Meaning there's no loss in that. We the factory with us.
How do you do that?
We disconnect it.
I mean, it costs millions to start like a housing facility. To put one of those up, you're spending millions to do that.
Correct.
So how are you doing this for so little?
So we've procured every machine manufacturer in the world that builds molds, and we teamed up with a factory that does our molds. So we don't build our own molds. We have a factory that takes care of that, and then we build these steel structures that we away from welding, so we can unscrew it and just goes on a few containers. And our goal is to be up and running within 3 months. That's the goal. Yeah.
Wow. Within 3 months. So tell me a little bit about the actual physical production so I can visualize this a little bit more. So for those that are listening can visualize a little more, because it's SIPs. We know that. There's not single wides and double wides. Just it's concrete. So help us understand this precast construction, how that factory works and how it works on site.
Yeah. So let's just first talk about let's Baya Build. Everything we build has to be hurricane proof to category 6.
Okay.
Okay, 220 mile an hours.
Mm-hmm.
Everything has to be ready for seismic for California or Tokyo.
Yeah.
Okay, and everything has to be net zero ready, which means that we have to have incredible R values and a very,
Mm-hmm.
very envelope. So in
Yeah.
most cases, we're aerating our homes because they're so tight.
Yeah. Yeah. Well.
Okay. And so ventilation is a big issue for us and condensation.
Yes. With concrete, it
Our,
would be. Yeah.
our panels are per project, and they could be as long as 60 feet long if needed. And sometimes they're only 15 or 5 feet wide, for example.
Mm-hmm.
We have our own footers are precasted. So
Mm-hmm.
we have our own foundation system that we built, our own flooring system that we built. We embed our MEP in it, so
Yeah.
electrical and plumbing in
Yeah.
the concrete.
Yeah.
And everything is designed not to the need of welding, if
Mm-hmm.
possible, because that just that speeds up our time and doesn't need another inspection. And so
Mm-hmm.
that's important for us. On the inside, we eliminate the need of we can get to
Okay.
level 4 finish. So if you can see this, how smooth
Yeah.
this is,
Mm-hmm.
right? This is even smoother than sheetrock. And we embed electrical and plumbing. Like I said, we're working on some very amazing HVAC system that we're going to be embedding as well, but we're not there
Yeah.
yet. Yeah. And then depending on what it is, it could come in a long panel that is connected together. It could come in a volumetric, like pod that are stacked on top of one another. It really does depend what it is. If it's a lot of copy and paste, it may be a pod, right? Like we do workforce housing where the units are 206 square feet, and they're
Wow.
and they're fully contained. So they have their own kitchenette and they have their own bathroom. And they get stacked one on top of each other. We can produce 2 a day.
Oh, one machine.
Yeah.
So what do you mean?
It's a casting machine. So
Yeah.
we have our own proprietary casting machine.
Yeah.
And then we have our own batch plant, mobile batch plant with
Mm-hmm.
our own cementitious proprietary mix.
Yeah.
Right. And then it pours in it, it cures it, has steam in it to warm it up and to speed up the curing time. And then we stack it.
Now you'll have to have labor in that facility to do the MEPs. So how does that work?
So we have labor, but it reduces the amount of labor that we need. We have shop drawings for every project. So there's a team in ground, and everything is videotaped, and everything is checked. And every time we make concrete, we have to have a sample of it, and it has to go for testing and to make sure that it reaches the PSI that we need and all that.
Wow. So then when the precast components are brought on site, how much work is needed aside from assembling and putting the pieces together? You still, I mean, you have to do the rafters, you have to run some wires there and do lights.
Correct.
Are the switches already in place? Is the wiring already there, or is it just conduit? How's that work?
Correct. In most cases, our windows are already installed before they show up. Okay. Our conduits are already embedded into the concrete panels. So it's just fishing. It's already there. You just have to put your wire in and connect. So it's very, very, I would say, if you look at like a single family structure, we try to do foundation, the footers in one day, all of the walls in one day, the entire roof in one day. So you're day 3 until the roof. And then you do your roughing and slab on grade on your 4th day. And then you're working on your finishing. You're trying to get out of there within 10 days of working.
Yeah, that's incredible. That's so for, Can you just talk a little bit?
And that's a 4-bedroom, large 2-story house, what I'm talking about.
Yeah. So talk a little bit about what
2-car garage.
That's amazing. That turnaround time's amazing. Can you talk a little bit on what that would look like if it were just traditional construction, what that time frame would look like and how you're saving time with the way you're doing it? Because not everyone listening fully understands how incredible that is.
So generally, traditional construction, when they design the footers, they're going to have a carpenter, okay, who's going to put in into the footers, and that would take anywhere between a day to 3 days. So so I'm saving 2 days on that. And then they stick frame which carpentry could take, depending on how big of your crew, that could be anywhere from a week to 3 weeks.
Yeah.
It really does depend on what it is. And then on top of that, you're bringing in your roof, and then you have to do the insulation, and you got to do the wiring. And so just everything, you're talking about potentially months. I mean, months of savings. Yeah.
Yeah. So then cost, what I'm interested in this then, because you've really ironed out all these details. It sounds like you're full steam ahead, so to speak. What are the cost savings to this? Is it primarily going to be a time saving? And what are the details there?
Yeah, so it's definitely a cost and a time. But I think we care about the quality than just the cost and the time, because we didn't want to build something that wasn't a super product. So it was really important for us to so those are really our three things. Is
Okay.
How do we increase the quality? How do we decrease the cost? And so we say that we're approximately 50% faster than conventional construction. Having said that, sometimes we even as much as 85-90% faster.
Yeah.
And so it really does depend. So that's one thing. In terms of costs, it's hard to compare us apples to apples, because they're not the same quality product.
Yeah,
but
that's right.
Even if we are apples to oranges, we're still about 35 to 40% cheaper.
Yeah.
Than construction. And especially in the very large projects. The larger the project, the more we're going to be cost effective.
So you don't sell direct to consumer. You are partnering with builders. You're working with municipalities. Is that correct?
Correct. So governments, municipalities, those are kind of our two.
And so why does how do you make these connections? Why does someone choose you over just doing it traditionally? Is there an educational sort of hump that you have to get over to help people understand the benefit of going to Baya Build? Can you fill in the details there?
I mean, first of all, not everyone has the luxury of doing a really large project, a 3,000 unit project, right?
That's true,
we're minutes, we're waiting on an RFP that's coming out any minute or any day today on a 3,000 unit RFP that we've been working with a specific government, and they have a problem. They can't build for that price, and so they were introduced to us. So we're known more with larger developers that are doing larger scale projects that are problematic and that don't pencil. I hear this word all day long. Don't pencil, don't pencil, don't pencil. Yeah. So if large enough, we will pencil it.
Wow. So that now these governments, you have approached them, or they have the projects that they say, hey, everybody bid on this. Just help the understand, because these are not something that your today builder is not doing projects that big. So you have to have something.
We also do 100 units. I mean, we also do a smaller project. If we're in a region or in an area that we know we're going to do somewhere between 200 to 500 a year, maybe, we'll invest in that region. And so we have a few cities. In fact, the thing that's behind me is going into a project in Cleveland where we're doing the first 45 units. But they need 5,000 units in the greater Cleveland area and over the next 10 years. And so we have a great partner, and that's where this is going. So we'll do also smaller projects, but it has to have a reason for it. And we don't reach out to governments. There's usually a developer that's working with the government, and they have heard of us and they've come to us. Interestingly enough, I never realized it. The construction industry is really small. Like eventually people hear of you and
So you came from fintech, right? So how you've had a passion with construction. and that has to do was you said with your father, some of what he
Yeah.
did. Is
Yeah.
that right? Okay.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's great. You had a passion for it, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to work out. Like coming from financial technology and transitioning to construction, that could be disastrous. Because it's a pretty chaotic industry, like you said. There's so many moving parts, and there can be just kind of disarray in a sense where there's not a lot of cohesiveness, and you could come in with not the right approach and it's a different mindset, different industry, and totally fail. So how have you succeeded? How have you come from what seems to be a completely unrelated industry and succeeded with Baya Build?
So actually, I think the fact that I came from such a foreign industry with such a mindset was a fresh air. It meant that I said to myself, I don't want to do what everyone else is doing. I don't want to
Yeah.
continue refining
Yeah.
a method that everyone else is want to refining. I want to
Yeah.
completely think outside of the box. I
Yeah.
want to come from a completely left field. Don't do what everyone else is doing. Do something completely unique. And I think that was our approach. And we spent really 8 years focusing on purely technology. It wasn't about, building a company and getting the biggest amount of contracts. It was just about how can we refine our skill to the point that we can really make a big difference. And it took us a long time, and we feel very good about it, but it took a while to get here.
Yeah. Why did you take this approach? Why didn't you take a different approach to building? Why that's scalable? Why focusing on maybe ADUs or focusing on a commercial? Why?
I just have a passion for affordable living. I've always had that. I recognized 6-7 years ago that we were going to have a labor shortage problem, and that every time technology evolves, the pool evolves too. So, for example, in the 30s, when they came onto the scene, suddenly people didn't want to, plow their lands the same way. They wanted to use tractors. In the 2000s, when .NET came in, suddenly everyone wants to have an app, right? And suddenly and then the trading world came in, and everyone wants to write an algorithm. And so now you've got autonomous cars, and people want to live a different way too. They don't necessarily want to live in the same kind of styled house. So it's also not. So I think there's going to be a trend here as well. But in America, there's over 7 million units of affordable housing, and that's growing every year. And I felt like if we can have a really strong technology, we got to use it for good. So that was kind of the passion, is really kind of using it for affordable housing. Having said that, we are guilty of building $1 million homes. And so I just want to put that out there. But that really, it's the same technology, by the way.
Yeah. Another usage for it, which is it's totally fine. So then, what do you see? It sounds like you've arrived at a place you worked very hard to get to. What do you see the future for Baya Build?
I still thought we will always be technology focused. There's 2 or 3 pieces of technology that we really are working on silently. I told you about one of them, HVAC specifically. We have a dream to be able to deliver radiant cooling for the world. So when to get that done, that will be a very huge feat because it's the most efficient usage of energy in the world. And so we definitely we're still working on that. We are using graphene right now to generate energy, and we would like to get our homes all 100% off grid. So that's technology focused. There's a few other things that but this is always going to be technology. It's always going to be affordability, mass production. I guess home attainability really is kind of our passion.
So would you say the bulk of what you wanted to attain with Baya Build, you've done it? You've arrived?
No.
No. Okay.
We've arrived to the point that we are doing scalable projects.
Yeah.
We arrived to the point that we have a technology that we're very, very proud of. And we think is a game changer for a specific segment. And we built a 2,311 foot home, a prototype. And we were able to sell that at $319,000 to the consumer. And we're able to bring that price down. now. And for that makes us really proud that we
Yeah.
can sell, mass produce really high-end product that comes with certain components with up to 50-year warranties.
Yeah, that's
Something
amazing.
that's never been done in the industry. And so that's really where we want to focus. That's our really.
Yeah.
But
Well,
have we reached where we want to go? We're getting there.
yeah, yes, you're reaching. So would you ever go direct to consumer?
I don't think so. I don't know.
Why
And
not?
it's not because I mean, I love the consumer. I am a consumer. But I feel our focus is about the production and the technology and partnerships.
Mm-hmm.
I think if it's well established in 5 years from now, we would love to do that. It would be amazing. And if if we had hubs around the country, once also shipping becomes autonomous, it's going to be a very big change. So we are already
Okay.
working and developing our technology for that day. And for when
Hmm.
that happens, things will change quite a bit for us
Why is
and
that
for the
significant?
consumer,
Why is that
because
significant for you?
it will bring down the pricing of
Yeah.
drastically. And you'll be able to transport much faster and overnight, and there's no stopping,
Yeah.
and it'll big difference.
Yeah, you just have a crew on site to receive.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, that's what do you have to ship these in right now? Do you have to have escorts? Can you do little hot shots with them?
No,
How does that work?
no escorts. Just we do
Yeah.
standard shipping.
So you're pretty it's a
No
pretty
oversize. And even if
That's
we
great.
do oversize, it's by a foot, so there's no escorts. No.
Yeah. That's fantastic. We're working on a little of our own, just an idea really, and we'll see how it goes. But it's to it as a Mod Pod, and it's kind of the heart of the home, so to speak. Has all the MEPs in it. It's got the bathrooms in it, and then on the one wall you've got everything for the kitchen, and then you go around from there. Is that an idea that you've? It sounds like you have everything in the walls. You don't have a
We've
central.
designed Mod Pod before a few years ago. And
Yeah.
so we designed, I'm happy to share with you. We designed this was that you could build buildings of Mod Pods, multi-story,
Yeah.
and you could build buildings in 4 or 5 different shapes: a straight, a U-shaped,
Correct.
an
Yeah.
L-shaped. And we have these Mod Pods for a 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, and 3-bedroom. So
Yeah.
we designed those. And that's a fantastic way of efficiency. The idea, it's a way to build, to bring down pricing.
It's not.
Absolutely.
Is that something that you found longevity with, or did you find that with what you're doing? Because you probably have, like, how do you get a consistent floor plan? I'm sure that different governments want different things for their locations, and that their lots are all this way, or the community wants to be a certain way.
Right.
So, do you have any consistency with that? Did you find any value in having a Mod Pod to get consistent floor plans, or do you have to engineer each floor plan for each lot or each development?
The problem is that each lot is never the same, and setback rules and local rules are going to jump from region to region. I'm a huge fan of Mod Pod if you're doing multifamily. And multifamily Mod Pod's a great product. I'm happy to share with you. And it's been a few years. I have to dig it up, but it's a product. And we do things slightly differently. And we don't necessarily, because we do townhomes and we do different style buildings, and this 260 square feet unit is its own self-contained pod. The whole unit is one pod. And it just, there's different ways of approaching.
Yeah. But for a single family, you found the way that you do it just makes more sense.
The problem with single family, you can't do a Mod Pod to a single family the way we see it, because of your lots and your setbacks. So I'll give you an example. Our goal, we just brought up Cleveland, was how do we build a product that will fit in 40-foot wide infill location. I'm working on my home office today.
And fine, no worries.
So it's a 40-foot with 3.5 on each side. And we have to be the setbacks on the front and the back. And we want to get rid of having a basement. So we have to replace basement storage upstairs above ground and be within budget. So that was kind of a challenge. We were
Yeah,
able to find 800 square feet of storage upstairs.
Wow. Yeah, no wonder why they came to you and said, "Look, we can't get this at the price it needs to be."
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's really and 8 years is how long
Seven and a
Baya
half.
Build's
Yeah, we're in our eighth year now.
coming up on 8. That's really
Yeah.
fantastic, James. So what was
I haven't really slept in 8 years, so it's not like
no,
it's, but that's every good entrepreneur. This is my sixth startup, and it was like, just very passionate about it. And as you get better and you see the light, you kind of it gives you a little bit more energy, more power, and more strength to, continue.
What was the turning point that made you say, I'm fintech, I'm doing this?
I loved fintech. It was really an amazing 25-year run, or 20, just under 25 years. I was lucky enough to work in 22 countries and learn a lot of cultures. And I love cultures. I love people and learning about history and food and, religions and respect and family structures. And I love architecture. So going to all these countries and looking at buildings, and whether they were old buildings or new buildings or new old areas. And so I really enjoyed it. But unfortunately, the fintech where I was not contributing to the world. If I had dropped dead at any point, like no one was going to be like, he contributed. What I'm doing here, I feel, is a life mission. So it's just really, it has purpose. Yeah. And so I found purpose.
Yeah. So coming to that realization, coming to that moment of, I want my life to have more value. That's very motivating. That's what will help you get through the sleepless times,
it's not fun and games. This is, of all my startups, this has been the hardest and the most rewarding, but definitely, 100 times harder. And luckily, I didn't know how hard it was going to be when I went into it. Yeah.
That's too. I was gonna say, like, knowing what did not expect, like what was different here almost 8 years later.
But the issue, first of all, the time people react to your innovation. So in technology, you could build technology in fintech on a Friday and test it on a Monday and see results Monday afternoon. Yes. Right? Okay, in construction, you develop something today. For the first 2 years, everyone doesn't understand what you're talking about. Like, people looked at me for the first 3 years of what we were doing and thinking, like, you're insane. Honestly, people thought, no, we have no value. And then we were lucky enough that one of the top, I think the largest construction company in the world, is the ex-C president of it, came in to see us when we were doing our Generation 2, and he said to me, James, you're onto something. And he flew in his private plane with his whole groupies of heads of construction, and they spent the day with us. And they said, you're onto something. And he said, if you could crack this, you will change the world. And that was, but 3-4 years of people looking at us funny and not, So that was frustrating. Yeah. And then even if you have technology, by the way, and you have the best, the way industry is set up is that it's a zero-sum game. It's not a fair playing field. They're aligned playing field. So your lenders, the architectural board of review, your funders, your manufacturers, your suppliers, the interest rate, transportation. Everyone has their own agenda. Yeah. Yeah. So that's a bit of a, just a different sandbox.
Yeah, it is a little bit of a circus, it seems like.
Yeah.
At times.
Yeah.
So were you well, okay, so when the the president came in of that construction company, and he comes and he looks everything over, did anything change at that point? Was there any involvement from them? Was it just hey, this is pretty interesting, I think you're onto something? Did additional insight from that? What was there, or was it, hey, these guys are interested in what you're doing?
There was they wanted to learn what we were doing. They wanted to see if they could incorporate. We were in our Generation 2, which was a great product, but not good enough for scale. So Generation 1 was great. a phenomenal product. We built up homes that withstood 220-mile-an-hour wind loads and had a R34 insulation and an incredible budget. And those were great, but not good enough to scale. So then we went to generation 2, where we did this rapid framing system method, where we built full-scale frames of generation 1, much better, but still not good for scale. When I say scale, like try to do 100 or 1,000 homes, right?
Yeah.
Then we went into SIPs, love SIPs. We worked with a lot of different factories from, all around the country. Big fan.
Yeah.
Again, it's not good enough to scale. And so we said, what are we going to do? We're not going to be able to solve, this construction conundrum if we can't be able to pump out, 1,000 units per project or 2,000 or 10,000. So how do we do that? And that was what pushed us into cement, and it took us 2 years to develop this. It's been a while.
So in a nutshell, this is generation 4, right?
Yeah.
Cement. In a nutshell, how does that solve what these other things were not able to solve?
Because first of all, I'm not limited on production of cement. So I can produce more cement. I can produce enough cement to make 100,000 unit project, and it will take me 3 months to produce that. Yeah. Whereas if I was going to produce SIPs, it would take me 3 lifetimes. If I was going to produce, generation 1 or generation 2, it would take me years to develop, just to manufacture the product. I'm talking about 2-3 months to manufacture that product. That's for 100,000 units. So the scale was, and then the price. This is a quarter of SIP.
Yes, SIPs are not cheap.
This is a quarter of SIP. This is cheaper than stick built.
How? How can it be cheaper than that?
Because it has the insulation. It has the insulation built in. I'm getting rid of the siding. I'm getting rid of the waterproofing. I'm getting rid of the inside. I'm reducing the plumbing insulation into this. So I'm cheaper.
Wow, that would be really fascinating. So to the consumer, they're inside the house. Do they notice anything different visually?
No, not at all. We have no limitation whatsoever.
Yeah, wow. Because you think like your cost to do to stick frame versus a concrete house, it's going to be more expensive, but you're taking all these other things out, the siding, drywall,
correct?
Right? Then you're adding these other MEP components into it, which reduces the labor that you need on site.
Correct. And don't forget, if 70 to 80% of the labor, that translates the end price.
All right, so let me ask you this. Sometimes I think of like when you're trying to find a solution for something, it might be obvious, but not at that moment, because there are 1,000 solutions, okay? And you happen to find it on number 4, right? So there's 1,000 solutions, and they're all out in front of you, and you're thinking like, oh, is it this one? Is it that one? And the only reason that the one that you landed on was not clear is because there were 999 other options. And then all of a sudden, you come to realize, oh, this is generation 4 cement. This is the one to go with. And so it's all sense. Oh, now looking at it in the face, like, oh, that solution makes sense. Why didn't I understand that before? Well, maybe it was because I had all these other options and I just didn't know. I had to sort through them. Is that would you say that's kind of a similar thing here? Where now explaining it, this just makes sense.
I would never been able to get to this unless I went through generation 1, 2, and 3.
Okay.
Those 3 generations created generation 4, or enabled us to create generation 4. And we knew quite a long time ago what the result would be. But we said if we couldn't get the concrete to act the way we needed to act, we can't fulfill this generation or this proof of concept. So that took us a while to do. And so, but it wasn't, we just fell on it. It's a while to develop it. And by the way, we're still developing it. We're doing lighting system into this that doubles as a conduit as well. And so we're continuously refining. You know how you have LED lights? So we're doing hidden LED lights that also act as a conduit as well. So we use
that's pretty cool.
One application for 2.
Yeah, really cool. So, all right, we'll here shortly. I don't want to take up any more of your time, but I really appreciate it. Were you for the costs to the research and development to go through generation 1, 2, 3, 4, and continue development? Were you prepared for all of those costs that it would take? It sounds like it took longer to arrive where you are now.
No, it did. It didn't. I mean, a lot of people said, "Well, why didn't you go commercial with Generation One? Just take you did a great job. Just make money out of it, and or second generation or third generation." And we would just. It wasn't about the money. It wasn't. You know, I was that I had a few exits in the past, and it was about how do we solve a real problem, and that's what it was about, and it still is.
Yeah. That's amazing.
But we were definitely not prepared, just so you know, and had been prepared. You know, if we were warned, we would probably be scared to have, to continue or to even approach it.
Yeah, that's amazing. How many you're working in the U.S.? You've got the in Cleveland. You're working throughout the entire U.S. Or are you mostly the Midwest on the Eastern Seaboard?
So we're mostly the East Coast and the Midwest. We're probably active in about a dozen or 15 states in that region. We have a few projects overseas. We've done approximately about 19 projects in total. Some of them on YouTube, so you can see, you know, different generations. We definitely had, it was, we learned a lot over the years. We documented everything. We really try to do what we call a post-mortem on everything.
Yeah.
And learn from it. And there yet? No, I hear I'm a little bit more comfortable. Every project I'm more comfortable. It's we continue refining.
Yeah. These are big projects too. Not just 1, 2, 3 homes. It sounds like you'll be doing homes for some of these projects. Yeah. That's amazing. Yeah. And you have some stuff on YouTube, you say?
Yes, if you go to Baya Build on YouTube, there's in North Carolina there's different North Carolina, but there's one in New Hampshire that's like $1 million home. We built the frame in 4 days with a brand new team. There's one in Kentucky that we built in 1 day, the frame, which was a hybrid of SIPs and conventional trusses.
I'm looking at some of it now.
Maybe some other stuff there too.
Fantastic. So you don't have too much of an online presence, would that be right?
We don't do so much outreach. We've really been word of mouth. We've been about focusing about our technology, and luckily a lot of people hear about us. And
it's relationships.
It really is really what it's about. And we weren't rushing to do commercialization. We were rushing to develop and so the project that we're doing in Cleveland is going to get a lot of eyeballs.
You reckon?
It's going to get eyeballs. I mean, it's hard to build a 2,300 square foot home for the prices that we're doing and the quality we're doing. Yeah. So it's gonna.
Yeah. So if I want to see that stuff, where should I go? Should I head to your YouTube? Should I head to Facebook? To the website?
Yeah, you can. We can also share. You can email us and we can share with you. We've got a lot of stuff. We do everything, and I'm actually going to be in Cleveland on Wednesday because we're setting up a factory there, and so we're very excited about it.
Yeah, you got. I've looked through on now the Facebook page, and you've got some great stuff on here. You build. You're a builder. You got quality. It looks like. But the thing is, you're not consumer facing so much, so those relationships are super important that you have. And if you do what you're doing in Cleveland, every builder is going to know about it.
If you're in the Cleveland area, there's a prototype house that we built. I would highly recommend to make an appointment and get in there. And if it doesn't blow your mind, I would be very surprised. I mean, it's affordable luxury with 25-foot ceilings.
No way.
Yeah. And a loft that has 15-foot ceilings with a window and a balcony, all in affordable housing.
Why don't you do more like, because Boxable has, I'm sure you know of them, right? Boxable has caused quite a stir with what they're doing, and I've got my opinions on them. And they have a very heavy online presence. and it's worked really, really well for them, regardless of what you think about the actual product. Why don't you do more of that? Because if you had, it sounds like a absolute home run, video content, on that prototype home. Why not more of that?
Yeah, so we will. We will. I mean, I think we will, once our factory is up and running and we've got our first 5 or 10 prototype homes in Cleveland, which should be hopefully by the end of this year. We already have 600 mayors that are interested in learning more about it. So we'll get there. We'll get there.
Yeah, you want to produce first.
Yeah, we want to produce. We want to make sure that we have the right scale, that we've worked out the kinks. Remember, we built a prototype home to verify that all our designs and our assumptions were correct. And we were about 97, 98% correct. I mean, we made a few minor changes now into the production, very minor. We moved the window a foot and a half over, or we made a few minor changes, layout changes. But we were 97, 98% there. But we wanted to be 100% there, because when we start mass producing, we want to have a
mass produce.
Yeah, so that is talked about and designed. So it took us a long time to come to this.
Yeah, amazing, man. I'm excited. That sounds the construction industry needs disrupting. It needs something that's different from what it has. It needs some absolute revolutionary technology, and this is fantastic. And it needs stuff that's really practical, tangible. And we've seen a lot of builders come and go, where they say they've got this new thing, and then nothing really comes of it. But I can tell from your approach is hey, we want to produce first before I start talking all this talk. I really want to produce the product, and then the product will speak for itself.
We've done very little talk. And by the way, just the stuff that's on Facebook now and on LinkedIn, we were forced to do this. So we never even, we've nothing. And generally, we haven't updated our years. And,
I see.
And like literally years. And it's just because our focus is on the technology. We've got some fantastic projects. We're beyond excited. And we're gonna,
well, that's fantastic, James. We can wrap it, man. I really appreciate your time, and I know that you guys keep things under wraps, so I do appreciate you coming on and just sharing a little bit about what you're doing. I'm excited to hear more. I don't think the industry has been disrupted in the way that it needs to be yet, even with all the builders out there saying not this and that and whatever. So I'm very interested to see someone come in and really change the way that construction has been done, because traditional construction has been just that, traditional construction for years and years and years. So changing that is going to take a lot, and that's why it sounds like it's taking you so long to get where you are. But once someone does it, just like that president said, like, hey, you crack this, you're onto something. You really are. So I'm very excited to see that. I'm going to keep my eyes on your Facebook, whenever you're forced to update it next. I'm certainly going to be watching it, because I'd love to see what comes of this.
Appreciate it. Absolutely.